everyone. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Kelly. This is A Life Well Spent, and on this channel, I document my financial journey. So from like budgeting to debt payoff, although I'm currently consumer debt free, I'd like to keep it that way. So there's not too much in the way of debt payoff. I really only have my mortgage at this point, but there are some past videos that get into that. I also do videos like this one, which is a weekly transaction video, and it's a video where I will show you my expenditures for the week and keep track of my expenses. Okay, so the reason I have been doing these weekly transactions, it's really for my own benefit. So initially, a lot of my like monthly expenses I was doing using cash envelopes and cash, and like every month I would get out the amount of money in cash that I wanted and in the denominations that I wanted, and I would kind of divvy out a certain amount, and that's what I would use. And that was actually working really well. It was really helping me stay within my budget. It's just easier, right? When there's cash in front of you and you go, oh, the good old days, I was doing $25 a week in groceries. I could be like, yes, I have this much left, or I think I gave myself like $50 of restaurant money. So I would go and I would pay cash and I would know how much money I had left because I could just easily count it, right? So super easy to keep track of. I stopped doing that during COVID because yeah, I didn't really want to be carrying cash around. And I wasn't often doing a pickup, like a grocery pickup or something like that. But again, like anything like that, takeout, all that stuff sort of ended up being like you would be buying and ordering online and picking up. So like cash just wasn't really an option. And I found myself really, really overspending in all of the different budget categories that I had. And so this was the solution I came up with. And I do this like every week. And I have noticed in the past when I've had like really busy, crazy months where I just haven't really kept track of much of anything, I really, really, really go over budget. So I'm have committed this year to go, but going back to doing this, I at least do it weekly. I don't always film a video, but I at least look at my transactions and look at my budget from week to week. So that's what the purpose of these weekly check-ins are. Now, I don't remember from the first weekly check-in. It would have been April 1st through April 7th, but I think I probably um took out of that or did not include a trip that I took, is gonna be my guess because I didn't actually have all of the money and all the expenditures in there yet because my mother paid for some things, I paid for some things, and, so even that's gonna be kind of a little bit wonky. So I live in Pennsylvania, and we were near-ish, close enough to drive anyway, um, for the path of totality for the last eclipse. And it was totally cool. Absolutely worth the money we spent on the trip. Had an amazing time. And seeing totality is just one of those things where, like, if you're ever close enough or in a position that you can go travel, um, I absolutely recommend it. 100%, like, it is the coolest thing I've ever done, and I will absolutely do it again if I get the opportunity because it was awesome. It was so just I don't even know that I quite have words for it. But it was, I mean, I've done some pretty cool things in my life, and that was probably top 5 coolest things to see. Um, it was something else. So anyway, my niece lives out in that direction, so my mother and I decided to make a weekend of it. And so yeah, all good. But we did share the cost of the trip, like the cost of the hotel room, which we were in like a Red Roof Inn. It was $100 a night on Friday and Saturday, and then Sunday night, because the eclipse was Monday, Sunday night was like $350 or something insane like that for a freaking Red Roof Inn. And we knew that. We knew the prices were gonna be jacked up, like, there really was no it doesn't really matter how far out we tried to book, like, yeah, they were gonna be rough. So, anyway, I mean, I think even if we managed to book and get, like, their normal rates, they probably would have, like, accidentally lost our reservation and made us rebook under rates or whatever, who knows? So, it is what it is. We were expecting to spend the money. We did as things as inexpensive as we could possibly do, but that's that. Okay. So, with that in mind, I get extra cash back. Like I think I get 5% cash back right now on my Discover card for gas, and my mom's was like 3%. So I'm the one who bought all the gas. So it looks like I have a ridiculous amount of gas that I paid for out here. And most of the times it was just like we were already stopping for something else. Like when we stopped for dinner, there was a gas station nearby, and we were like, well, you got about half a tank. Like, why don't we just gas up and we're done? We gassed up before we went home, which again was only half a tank, but we were expecting lots of traffic and that we would be sitting in traffic for a while. And boy, were we. It took us 8 hours to get home. It should not have taken 8 hours, but it took us 8 hours. So anyway, like, so there was a time when like we had a half tank, we decided to fill up just in case we got stuck in traffic. And then when we stopped to just kind of take a break and rest, we were like, well, let's gas up that way in case we run into any more traffic, like we're squared away. So yeah, anyway, I think I have the amount on here that I had ended up paying my mom. Yep, I do. Okay. So, Pilot, that's just gas. So that was our one of our gas stops. Sheets. Am I starting out at let me start here. Oh, wait a minute. Let me go back here. I got one more. Gotta go on back one more. Marathon Patrol, that was the first petroleum, I guess. Um that was our first gas stop. So I put $38.69 of gas in my mother's car. Um Pilot, this is it's weird how they all kind of came in for as far as like normally when I get gas, if I use my Discover card, like the amount is pending for a few days and then it finally like clears as the total amount. Because I think initially it like tries to charge like $100 and then it like deducts it down appropriately. But anyway, Pilot, this was the day before we left. We were just getting it kind of like the last thing we did at night before we went to bed, so we didn't have to fuss in the morning. $35.53. Sheets, that was on the way home, $30.05. I just topped off my mom's tank basically. Um, each of these were about half a tank. As you can see, they're all kind of similarly priced. DQ Grill, my mother and I went to Dairy Queen. We split dinner, so I'm pretty psyched with that one. That was actually, I mean, 14. I like Dairy Queen's grill because even now, like I feel like all the fast food, all restaurants everywhere, but I feel like fast food especially has been jacked up. And Dairy Queen, I feel like still gives a pretty good deal. Like we just got like a 6-piece chicken tender deal and we split it. And it came with fries. It came with like 2 pieces of like garlic toast and I had a buy one get one free Blizzard and we had that and we just split that and that was good to go. I bought 2 sodas in the grocery or in the hotel vending machine because my niece and my mother were thirsty and none of them bothered to stop anywhere and get anything. They didn't realize till they were home that they no longer had anything to drink because they did not pack appropriately. By they, I mean my mother. I don't necessarily expect my 8-year-old niece or 9-year-old niece to really pack much differently. I went to Walmart, $5.94 because um we spent the whole day on Sunday, the 7th at Splash Lagoon, and my eyes were killing me, and I just didn't have any in my bag, and I don't know. It's one of those things that, like, I didn't count it as travel because it's not gonna stay as a travel expense. I'm gonna put it in my probably actually in my swim bag that I take to the gym. Splash Lagoon, I bought lunch for us at Splash Lagoon, 23.75. Again, not bad. That's for 3 of us, so not terrible. My mother and I split something, which we try to do more and more lately. She's on, it might be Ozempic. It's one of the, like, Ozempic-esque things. I don't know if it's actually the brand Ozempic. So a lot of times, like, she doesn't really wanna eat much before she's full. Round 1, I bought this little, like, arcade game card with, like, $6 worth of games on it, which was not much, for my niece just to kinda entertain her during the day before the eclipse started. I stopped at Dunkin', and there was a Dunkin' in the mall, and I got myself a tea, got my mother a drink, got my niece a drink, and I think we all got donuts just kind of as a midday snack. We packed a lot of stuff too for most of the time. I mean, we probably only ever had we had breakfast out, we had dinner out one night, and we had lunch at Splash Lagoon the one time. Other than that, we just ate stuff in our room, which was kind of handy. I paid for that Dunkin' with one of the I said in a previous video that I had, like, a ridiculous amount of gift cards, and I had, like, 50 some dollars worth of gift cards for Dunkin', so I paid with that, which is, I'm happy about because it wasn't really money out of my pocket then, it's just money that I don't often go to Dunkin' Donuts, honestly. There isn't one that's convenient to where I live, and the one that's most convenient if I go to, like, the next town over, um, in terms of, like, it is on the way, it is an amazingly inconvenient place. Um, there's not a lot of, like it's in this, like, tiny little shopping plaza that's right next to a main road. It's such a pain to try to turn into because people are constantly, like, driving and having to slam on their brakes. People are coming like, it's just a mess. I would avoid it if I can. So, typically, if I'm heading that direction, I just don't go there. Even if I want something for breakfast, I'll, like, head over to Panera or something instead. So, it'll probably take me a while to move through that $50, even with the $12 chunk out of there. I spent 15.89 at Amazon for my first Amazon order, which I made, I don't know, whenever the pre-orders were available. I'm actually really annoyed because I didn't realize I pre-ordered the Kindle book. I prefer for this particular author anyway. Her name is Leigh Bardugo. She's an amazing writer. If you haven't read anything of hers, you need to go out and do it. Anyway, I pre-order everything that she does. And I typically, not even typically, every single time, I pre-order the hardcover. Like I have all the hardcovers of Ninth House and Ninth House and Hellbent are their own, but I have all the hardcovers of all of the Grisha stuff, and there's a trilogy and a duology there, two duologies, sorry, and I have them all in hardcovers, and it's a little frustrating that I didn't notice that I wasn't buying the hardcover, because I really hate spending $15.89 on a Kindle book, but that's what happened. It's very annoying. I might see if I can return that and get the actual book, print book itself. Because what happens is at some point that Kindle book's gonna go on sale for like $4.99, and that's gonna irritate the crap out of me that I paid like $16 for it. So I may make that change. But anyway, I ordered that book when it first came out for pre-order because I will buy out anything she writes. She's a fantastic writer. So I didn't I didn't even realize. I actually saw that and I was like, "What in the world?" I thought somebody was, like, in my account or that I, like, accidentally ordered things, and then I thought, "Oh my god, that's about the price of Audible." And I was doing a free trial of Audible. They gave me, like, 3 months, so 3 credits worth free trial, and was supposed to be, um, the last month for it. So I just had to cancel it before, like, May 3rd or something. And I was waiting till my 3rd credit dropped, and then I was gonna make sure I spent all the credits and then cancel the trial. And so when I saw that charge, I was like, "Wait a minute, I should not be charged. Are you kidding me?" And then I got nervous that I like, "Oh my god, what if I, like, accidentally bought something, like I pocket bought something?" Because I did pocket buy a book with one of my credits that I was able to return and they gave me the credit back, but, um, yeah, I thought that's what happened, and so I kinda went digging, and I even went on, like, Amazon. I was like, "I have no Amazon orders here. What the heck?" In the last 3 months. I went to digital, I'm like, "I have no digital orders in the last 3 months. What the heck?" Has to be Audible, and I'm looking and Audible's like, "Your free trial is up on whatever date." I'm like, "None of this makes sense," and then I remembered, "Wait a minute, I have a pre-order maybe?" And then I actually, like, had to dig back and find it, so, yep, that's what it was. Sam's just went for groceries, $21.42, didn't do a ton, because I was already out Monday, I had some other stuff left over, had some, like, leftovers from the trip that we packed, so I knew I wasn't gonna need to, like, get a lot, but that does include, a multivitamin. I was out of my multivitamin. I went to the farm market. This is funny because it looks like I mean, I did go twice, but 6 days apart. So I went on the 9th when I got back, and spent $17.91. The following week, I spent $8.90. So with this the reason some of those times the dates are really wonky for these is that this market it's an Amish market, so it's not open or Mennonite or something. I don't know. There's a religious bent of some kind to it, but It's not open on Sundays and it's not open on Mondays. So if I don't go Saturday or think about it by Saturday, then I'm stuck waiting till Tuesday. And so because I was out of town, I had to go on Tuesday. And then I think what I probably did was decide that I needed to try to go Saturday instead of waiting again until Tuesday. um, and I honestly I forget what I got this day because it's clearly not a lot. Um, but there's some things that I go specifically there for because it's so much cheaper. Um, I think you know what I think I went for? Let me look what else is yeah, okay. So I got an onion, I got, some peppers, and I think some popcorn, I forget what all I got, but I'm making a wheat berry chili, so I got some of the, like, the fresh ingredients that I needed for that. Sam's 25.98, that's just kind of my standard, I buy these, like, pre-made salads, they are a good, like, dinner salad or lunch salad, they're, like, 2.68 now a pop. They are freaking delicious, so I usually get one of those for every day of, like, the weekdays, so I get 5, typically, unless I'm not going to be I only got 4 this time because tomorrow, I have a meeting and I'm gonna get lunch at that meeting, so I only need 4 lunches worth. Um, so yeah, so typically it's 5 unless I'm doing something where I don't have to provide my own lunch at work. And then I get the pack of 6, I think, pre-cooked grilled chicken breasts, so that's why it was $25 this time around. Those are like, I don't know, they're like 10 or $11 maybe. I mean, even if they're 15, that's still it saves me a lot of time and effort and energy, so could I do it cheaper by, like, making a salad from a bunch of ingredients? Sure, but this is handy. These are delicious. Um, Wise's 21.71. I needed to get some ant traps and, like, stuff like that, so irritating, but c'est la vie. It's ant season apparently. Now, mom, I gave my mother $470. That is her portion of or that's my portion of the Erie trip. So basically we just totaled up what I spent, subtracted it from what she spent, and then divided it by 2 because that's then what I would still owe her. Um, the 2 biggest expenses were the room. I've already explained the room, and then my niece was ugh, it's still cheaper than staying in, like, a proper hotel with a pool. She really loves a pool. So she asked if there's no pool in our hotel, could we go to Splash Lagoon instead? And she mostly just wanted to swim in the pool. So I had fun on the slide. She had fun riding some of the slides, but she kept wanting to go to, like, the wave pool, or they had this little pool with, like, basketball hoops and stuff like that. She wasn't playing basketball, she just was, like, swimming in the pool. I thought I said to my mom, like, "Next time, we either get a hotel with a pool or we just spend like $10 to take her to the Y, because my mother and I are both members of the Y, so I was like, she just goes on a guest pass to the Y and we swim for a couple of hours because it was like $80 for her to swim in the pool for 6 hours. So anyway, so for the 3 of us especially, like, that was really pricey and the room was really pricey. That's the bulk of that right there. I would say that between me buying the gas and what little, like, the Friday dinner I bought, that probably evened out. So if you take out that 470 is probably all the room and, Splash Lagoon. My mother gave me $115.56 because I, was, right up near Lowe's. She was looking for something and couldn't find it in a different Lowe's that she was gonna be going to, or she was gonna be going to a different town that had a Lowe's, so she checked there to see if they had it. They didn't. And I said, I just drove away from, like, a store next to Lowe's and said, I'm, like, 2 blocks away. Do you want me to go back and look and see if they have it?" They did, and she said, "Well, they don't look like they have very many on the website. Can you see many there?" And I'm like, "No, I don't really see that many there." And she said, "Well, then will you please buy them?" So I did. And this is where my mom's stuff line item comes from because this helps me keep track of that. So yeah, so I bought that for her. She gave me the money for it. Um, a couple days later, or the next day, looks like, We went out again to get some other stuff from Lowe's. She needed some things. I needed some things. I used a $25 gift card that I got. So I really only ended up charging like 65.06, but it was $90 and 6 cents total. Again, $25 gift card. Those are pretty much my expenses for the second week of April. So, thank you so much. If you are still watching, leave a comment. Let me know. How do you track your expenses? Are you just purely cash? Sometimes I actually wish I'd like to go back to that. But other times I think, that's just one more hassle. It's just one more thing I need to do and then keep track of. And I kind of just find it more frequently useful to do it this way. How frequently do you keep track of your transactions? Do you do it weekly? I find it's easiest. I think I said that earlier. And there are times when like I've just gotten busy and haven't done it. And then I get to the end of the month. And like once I start putting them all in, I'm like, oh my God, I'm really going over here. So I try to be diligent about putting them in weekly and taking a look at how I'm doing on my budget. I think that subconsciously that prevents me sometimes from spending extra money. Um, I know sometimes I've made decisions where I'm like, "Oh, I really do wanna buy this thing. I'll wait till next month because I've definitely, like, really have overspent in this category." So that's helpful for me to know, what I'm spending. That must be the train. I was hearing something that sort of sounded like a horn, like a car horn, but it kept, like, being obnoxiously long for a car horn, so it must have been it must have been a train, but it was, like it was alarming and distracting enough that I was like, "Oh god, there maybe is a really big problem down there." Anyway, I don't really remember what I was saying about transactions, but I actually manually put them in every week or every couple of days. Sometimes I'll, just like be like, oh, I've got some time, I'll just plop it in. But I know some people like to do exports from their bank and stuff like that. So I'm just kind of curious how you guys do it if you do it. So leave a comment, let me know. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.